Welcome back to our Scala to Spark class, and on day 24 of our lessons we will look at working with strings within the Spark engine. So again, after number manipulation, of course string manipulation will be the next most common task. Looking through existence, maybe filtering by some regular expression, maybe changing some string appearance, uppercase, lowercase, capitalize, and so on. So we'll get started with some basic operations, such as, for example, init cap function will capitalize every word in a given string, right? As long as the word is separated from another by a space. We'll start our day 24, right? We'll start our day 24. We'll make a new file. So since we have new operations, of course, we'll be still working with our purchases file. So it will be day 24 Spark strings, right? Start this and objects, right? As usual, nothing new changes here. Extends app. Right. One thing I did think of is maybe we could print line chapter 6, but string working with strings. However, one thing I thought, maybe since we always often we are doing SQL commands as well as an alternative to these, so to say, to regular Spark commands. So maybe let's make a utility. We have utilities. We have a regular Spark session we return. So how about get session with get session? Let's make a wrapper. Get session with table with temporary view. So def get Spark with table, right? With temp view, right? Something like that, right? So we'll only have this everything. We'll just copy everything, except we'll make a table name, right? So it'll be exactly, we'll use this as a wrapper, and we'll add the extra command, right? So 2 for the price of 1, right? Again, it will return regular Spark session, right? Spark session on something like this, right? So of course we don't have to write all of this. All we do is this. Well, Spark session, right, is equal to get Spark, right? And we just pass the parameters, app name, and so on. App name, partition count, what's there, master, right? And what else? Verbose, right? So on. So it's exactly the same thing, right? Except we add one more command, right? And we will add Spark session here, right? So what's the other command is creating the table. So we need another argument. Let's see, where would we put it? Could we put it and? I guess we could put it and or first. App name, partition count, master. These are usually would be. So let's do the table name, view name, string view name. String, we'll call it df table because it's very common, right? So something like this. So basically one less thing to worry about. Again, so short things. If you do it over and over, right, we're doing this. So we need to add command get or create view, right? Where is our view? Right here, def create or replace temporary view, right? So we could of course add schema, right? That also might be, well, no, the thing is actually, well, we do need the df, right? So that's the thing, right? So we can't yet do it, right? Because we don't have the table. So maybe we add a function to or df to read it, create table, right? Everything at once, right? Since we do it over, so yeah, let's do that actually. So instead of getting maybe we'll separate. So read CSV, right, and then create table. Well, I guess we can make it so it's actually not as easy. So we need basically a df. We could do it this. We could split it if we want CSV, right? I guess not an easy way to do this separately, right? This is not part of Spark because of course if you make a Spark session, you can't create temporary view, right? So we could make this little helper function to read def and create temporary view. That would be a possibility. So yeah, read CSV, infer, right, and we could add these options, right? Yeah, that would be a possibility. Okay, let's do that. So instead of doing wrapping or app. We can't. It's not going to be like this. It's going to be slightly. So get df with view. So get df, read CSV with view. Right. So we need basically what do we need? Okay. So it's going to be. We already have the Spark session. We need, of course. So Spark session. Right. Spark session will be Spark session, of course. Right. Spark session type. Right. Right. And that's of course required. Then we need the file path, right? Pass string, right? And then we can do this. Read CSV with view. Okay, let's do that. Okay, that works. Read CSV with view, and so we'll copy this, right? Okay. So of course this is not required whatsoever. It's just a little extra. If you get tired of writing same thing over and over, right? So do we need these? No, we cancel. Right? We need Spark. Of course, we need Spark session, right? I guess I'm lazy. I'll just say Spark, right? I'll just say Spark, right? So Spark, right? That works. On pass, I guess I'll call it file pass, right? Since again I need to change somewhere, right? So okay. So I have df. I want to return df, right? So I want to return a data frame, of course, right? Data frame, right? That would be needed, right? Equals. This is comma, and equals like this, right? There is a. Okay, yeah. So what's the data frame? We need to import it. Import Apache's SQL data frame. Okay. Now we're good. We're returning df. Okay, and we want these. So we'll do these else. So these are booleans, right? So header, boolean, right? Boolean equals true, right? Yes. Only thing is we need to have string. That's a good question. Can we do it actually as a? I wonder if it'll work. Can you pass a boolean here? Well, it's a string actually, right? Because why? Because option is generic, right? So let's see how do we do this, right? So this would be, of course, abstraction in Scala world. This would be a good option, right? Infer schema, boolean, again true for now, right? Again, we could do add so option header true, infer schema true, right? These are just not needed. And what else can we do? Print schema. We'll add print schema. Print schema boolean true, right? Again, equals true, right? Equals, right? Something like this. Again, so we have so many options, so I'll make it like this so it's easier to read, right? So we're getting data frame. So all this it's a wrapper. It's just a wrapper, right? So wrapper among or common. So format source. Oh yes, let's do that also. Source. So source string equals CSV, right? Yep. Okay. So we know. Okay, we are in good shape. I think so. What's missing? And what are we doing wrong here? Let's take a look. Boolean infer schema and bool, or we do have a right? It's a boolean. Where's the problem here? Comma here. Comma is here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're good shape. So let's replace all the values here. Source, right? Again, this is very typical type of wrapper. So here's a little tricky, right? It wants a string, right? So what do? Header to string, I believe, should work, right? Right, since Spark wants string here, since option is generic, right? So we'll make, okay, sure, why not? Let's do a string. So again, infer schema to string, right? So our boolean will be converted to string, right? Something like this. Okay, load file path, everything's good. Source. Technically, this could work with many different types, right? See, we have a pretty much generic file reader. All we need is Spark session, I mean the file path. And of course, also we want to have the, if print schema, we do, of course, what do? df print schema, of course, right? So if print schema, we print schema just for helper, like we do everything, so say all one shop stop for basically just these generic options so we don't have to repeat them. Read CSV with the view, right? It will read all of these options. What else? Let's see what else do we need. So we want in first scheme all of these are used. Here, right? Source. Of course, we want. No, that's correct. Yeah, so it's correct. Everything is correct here. Source, we are using everything, right? Every part of the potato, so to say. And we want to also create a view, right? If view we'll do here, right? Because that's part of the idea is view name, right? View name will be string. It will be, let's say, df table, right? Df table. And so of course we can use something else if you need to, right? So this is not used. So if, and we can even make it if view name, right? So if it's an empty string, so if empty string do nothing, right? And if names, so we create, of course, df create or replace temporary view with view name. So easy, right? So it should work. If to boolean, maybe can we do this? Is empty. Maybe let's see. Blank is blank, right? That would work. Let's try that one. I have not used this. Is blank. Yeah, white space. Okay. So idea is so if you pass empty, only white space or nothing to view, we will not create it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So extremely like universal function. Basically to do all extra stuff, right? So we create view, print, right, and we return the data frame, right? So we do 1, 2, 3 option, through 3 in 1, right? 3 in 1. Okay, let's see if this works now. So we get Spark, right? So val Spark equals get Spark, right? Get Spark, right? And of course analyze, get Spark, right? We'll say string fun, right? String fun. And what else do we need here? It's all good. It's Spark, right? And why isn't it working now? Spark utilities, right? We could import, of course, Spark utilities, right? So yeah, import. So we'll need to import it, right? There we go. And we also want df, right? So val df is what? File path, of course. Val file path is gonna be for now. It's gonna be our same one, right? This one here, right? We are not. We could have also made this a default, but since it's liable to change. So now we get val df equals get. Well, again, so Spark. We could write this. We can do this. Spark utilities get. It should pick up. Did we save it? Read CSV with you, right? Then I don't need to import it. But okay, I'll skip it, right? I will do this, right? So what I need is what? I need Spark, right? Spark and file path, right? And that's it. Right, and in fact, that's good. Everything works, right? However, since this is kind of, well, thing is, I guess I should do this, right? So created, let's make a note, right? Created print line, created temporary view for SQL queries called, and it'll make name, view name, right? View name, of course, on, right? So something like this. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we should be all nicely set up for work. Okay, hopefully, how much time did it take? About 14 minutes. Pretty quick. Okay, so let's run it, save it, and commit. Everything works. Let's hopefully, right? And I will again. So if I cut this off, right, what will happen? It's red. So I import it and it happens here. Okay, all right. So we get Spark, read CSV with you, right? And view name is, of course, will be this. Okay, let's run it. See if this mini optimization actually worked, right? Okay, so again, so don't have to worry. I have a nice array function. Of course, it's a question of how much you want to hide information or not. Again, so here, of course, you don't know. You need to look at this file path, header, view name, right? Df table. It's sort of it'd be nice to have documentation for this, right? So to do right docstring, right? Scala doc. Right, this would be a nice thing to do, right? I won't do it right now, maybe later. Alright, so we have session, one partition. Only thing is what happened. Why didn't I get my? I have my root. My schema worked. That's good, right? I printed schema. So what happened here? Why didn't this? So schema worked. But if view name is blank, of course, right? Reverse, right? What did I do? It's not blank, right? So one thing I could do is not blank, right? I could do this, right? If your name is blank, that's one way, or, right? So of course nothing printed, right? So if view name is not blank, right? Okay, so let's do this negation, right? Let's take a look. That should work better now. And we should be, hopefully now, we should have everything working. Spark, one partition, and we can get started. Nope, it's still not working. Okay, so what's wrong? What's wrong? Oh no, everything worked. DF table, right? So what's interesting, actually, yeah. All right, no, everything's fine because we created temporary view, right? DF table, it worked, and the order is also preserved. So create temporary view, root, right, and we have schema is right. We have schema as well. So everything is known, like everything in one place, and we return the value. Okay, so we can proceed now. We save. Maybe again, if you keep doing, of course, the utilities are not required. It's up to you how you make your abstraction. So it's a little bit of extra abstraction on top of this Spark interface. So you are free to modify these, maybe add some more abstractions, maybe less, right? Depends on your workflow. So again. So lots of things we do, right? So we'll do here, right? Strings, and let's get started. So we have start with simplest option is we get use init cap, right? Description. So this means every column in the description column will be capitalized. What I will do, since I want to, so select, right? We don't have init cap. Init cap is there. We don't have column. We have there. So let's take a look. Yeah, init col and init cap. So we can check what it is. We can read it. Returns a new string. First letter of each word, right? Uppercase. Words are delimited by white space. Again, this comes from Spark. If you need all of these functions, again, there are so many of them, right? That's why you don't want to have all of them. And I will show, let's say, 3. But what I will do is also I will show the original, right? So I will show call description, so you can see how it looks originally, right? So I select 2 columns, right? On this second one, the one I'm changing, I will alias, alias desk capitalize init cap, right? Something like this, right? I'll change it to. This is not required, but I changed it to have the new column name. Okay, let's run this. On same time, to save time at the same time, I will also show you the SQL query. We have it here, right? There it is, right? Of course, I need to do this like so. Spark, not here, but here. Spark SQL, right? And we can copy the query, which is of course really simple, right? Again, if you don't remember if you want to know what functions are available, they all are here, right? All SQL functions. So all functions, right? All SQL functions are listed here, right? So, okay. So Spark similar. You can see, of course, for this you just press functions dot, and you will see all that is available, right? So, okay, init cap. Of course, also since this is also I want to say description as let's call it well, okay, I'll leave it in, right? So if I don't have this alias, it will show just, let's see what it shows. I think it should be exactly the same. For now, I'll add the alias maybe later. So I'll do select description, right? So of course, what I want to show only 3 false. again, white false, show, say 3 false, so false, again, remember false, false shows full strings in columns without truncation, which is cutting, you know, cutting things, truncate false. Okay, so again, that's why you want to see these, but that's why IntelliJ shows you these flags, right? You see exactly what's happening. So let's do it. Let's take a look. Okay, so as you can see, it's exactly the same. This is the actual string, right, but as present, and we make it nice and capitalize by one, right? Easy, easy. Again, so if you don't like this name, init cap description, you simply add alias or as here, and you can have it with your own custom column. Again, notice how here, when I do a select, I say, okay, I want this column, and I want this column. So you can keep, of course, add more columns here, right? So, for example, right, I have column name using alias and so on. Okay, so that's a basic example. We can move on, I think, right? So, upper lowercase, we'll look at those. That's very simple as well. So we can do those, and let's do some examples. Lower, and yes, let's keep adding these, right? So let's adding lower, upper, on lower, upper, lower. What's going to happen here? Lower, upper, lower. Upper, right? First we lower, then we upper. Well, do we need this actually? Why not just upper everything, right? Well, yeah, because of course the thing is we already have the we are already uppercase here, right? Technically we don't really need upper, right? Because in this case, but of course, how do you know, right? Maybe there's some mistake, maybe there's a couple letters which are in fact lowercase. So let's do that. Again, I will not do this upper lower. You can chain. I mean, so this is not required strictly, right? So strictly here, upper lower. I'm going to import these functions, of course. Right, import. Right, strictly speaking. And again, why not false? I'll do false. I'll do 3, since we can see more examples. Strictly speaking, right? This, how many? Look at this. 1, 2, 3. So I will do it here, right? Strictly speaking, the lower here is not necessary, of course, right? It just shows the opportunity of it shows example shows nesting, you know, if you want, if you need to, but in this case, of course, it will still be upper, right? If you go first lower, that doesn't really change anything, right? So how about select? We can do select, right? And this is exactly the same thing, right? Upper, lower. Only thing, let's take a look. Why is this uppercase here? Of course, it's not case sensitive. Let's take a look here, right? Let's take a look. We have a huge number of functions. Let's say upper. Okay, there we go. It's actually lowercase, right? So I think it's basically, yeah. So you can use upper, of course, and let's do. I would use small again to be considered. I think this is again. I think it's poor editing in the book. You can still use upper, right? So, but it's just a little bit sloppy, right? So again, book is not. Maybe your edition is more. The edition I have has this. It's not a typo. I mean, it's not really an error, but it's the editor could have used better editing here. So Spark, SQL, of course, and same thing. So we'll do this, and there we go. Right, upper lower. I'll do here again. This is so if I do this, right again. Oops, not like that. Control Z. I wanted to do it upper like this. Okay, yeah. Again. And so show 3 again false. Yeah. So again this upper again upper lower is not needed, right? But it might be useful for some other functions, right? Here, of course, you end up with upper anyway, so why would you want to do lower exactly, right? So let's run it, see how it works. So we have ways of manipulating data. Obviously, again, if you are getting, I don't know, thousands, hundreds, thousands of rows, right? Again, you have to, of course, be careful when do you do this operation. Okay, so maybe I made a mistake here, actually. Also, let's take a look. Where did we go wrong? Looks like SQL. Okay, which exception in thread? Let's see, where do we go wrong? Spark strings 32. What did we do here? What the heck happened here? Why did I copy this? Okay. Okay. Def upper. Where did I do this? I didn't do it here. What's happening here? I made a function. Okay. I have not imported. Oh, yeah, so I need to import it, not make it, right? Sorry about that. Yes. Right, lower upper. Okay, we are good. Right, let's do it again. So hopefully by now you see that Spark is not that scary actually, right? It's mostly because it hides really the hard. Well, sometimes these abstractions leak a little bit, these underlying structures, right? But the operations themselves are not that difficult for most part. You can see here, of course, again, if you want to change it, right? You see they're identical. Again, you can use alias, right? So and so on and so on and so on. Like you can change it, of course, names and so on. Right. So what else? So we're doing good. Yeah. So adding, removing spaces, LPAD, Ltrim, IPAD, and Rtrim. Right. So some examples as how you can. In this case, we are not doing. Of course, we're doing a literal. So it means, of course, that we're not showing anything from original data. We're just adding a new column at the top of it, right? But okay, so I'll add description just in case so you can see what's happening underneath. So these are right trim, padding or trimming, right? So trim is like strip, right? So trim, right? Trim both sides, right? Names, do you need the names, right? Alias or as, right? You can rename it because yes, you can say examples here, right? So let's take a look. All right, and we have 4 more functions. We'll have more look, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 functions coming in. Trim, left trim, right pad, left pad, all right. So there's no pad, there's left pad and right pad, right? So you can of course change these things as well. Let's see if we can do this immediately as well. Right. I'll do something potatoes or write something else, not hello. Okay, so we need to trim, literal, look at all this stuff, right trim, still available. Hope I'm importing the right thing. Okay, what's trim? Well, more actions, import with prefix. Oh my god, look at how many trim functions we have in this live. It means in our project we have so many trim functions, but we of course want this one, right? So it's functions trim. Again, reason it is because it wants you to say, okay, maybe you want some other trim, right? If you go to a barber, maybe you have a different trim in mind, right? So right pad, you could, of course, I could quit this off, right? Not necessarily needed, but let's take a look here. So we're importing column functions. We're not using column here for some reason. It's up here. So trim everything except the functions. So maybe okay if I get rid of this, right? All right, and if I add it here, it's so I'll go back here. So what do I need to know? Can I import it? Basically, import more actions. Import. Well, it's once prefix. It's okay. So I'll do it by hand. Okay, I'll do it by hand. Why not? I'll add it here. Trim, right? Getting again. We in this project we are in this file. We're getting lots of functions imported. Okay, so hello. I'll make it maybe something else. Copy, replace something. Anything. But okay, let's leave it hello. I want to have maybe another example here. I'll show you how you can do both. Right? Let's try doing that. Let's do left pad, right pad. Right? Let's combine them. Why not? Both double pad, right? I'll show, of course, 2 rows is fine since we're not showing anything here. I could do, of course, call description or say unit. What's the name of what did we have? We had let's say customer ID, customer ID or something, right? Why not, right? Just for here, of course, not needed. Just show you we are working with the data frame, right? Right. So we need some data frame, right, to get these results. Okay, these are basically adding columns here, and let me pad, right? So I'll make this copy of this. So padding. So what kind of padding you want, right? You could add stars or something. Let's do that. Let's do some star padding, right? Let's do some stars. And cancel. No, yes, we don't have to, right? So comma, right? And of course I want left pad. So I'll do this. And now of course I want to increase it. Let's len say, okay, let's say 5 on stars, right? Something like this. Okay. So, and I'll call it as pad boss, right? Pad stars as pad 5 stars. Pad 5 stars. Okay, so I don't know what that's kind of silly name. So I'll make it also star here, right? And make it 5, right? Okay. So all right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different columns. First one is the actual real one from the data frame. The rest are made up, but of course they become part of the new data frame. So this is a new data frame, right? It has one column from the original column, right? And again, you can always stop before showing. You can always save this, right? You can save it as a value, and it will be, remember, select returns you a data frame, right? So that's why we can do show, right? So how about SQL? Well, again, I'll do this shortened version. I'm not going to do everything, but I'm sure you can SQL, right, from df table, right? That's a lot of stuff. So Spark, SQL. Let's do this. I'm lazy, right? And yeah, make string. I'll just put everything here since I'm lazy. I don't want to spend so much time. And the question is, now we didn't rename these columns, right? So we'll need to rename them, right? So what will happen? Yep, looks good. It looks good. And can we do this as left trim, right? Trim, right? And so on. Select description. No customer ID, right? Let's see. Okay, and we'll see. These will look kind of, well, ugly, but okay, right? Let's take a look. We can do smileys here, of course, as well, right? So let's see if this works. Strip margin should be okay. Let's see, do we have any commas? Looks okay, right? Looks okay. Select. Questions about this part here. Will this work actually? Good question. No, right? Will this be a SQL problem? I'm kind of worried. I'll do this just in case. Because these have commas. This will be fine. And here also, right? I'll add this. I don't know. Maybe you need this. All right. And of course, I want to show it then, right? I'll show it, right? Show 2. We want to show 2, right? Or 3, doesn't matter, right? You'll have just some columns, right? And let's take a look how these trimming padding functions work, right? Lots of things to do. We can do at once, all right? And while it's doing string fun, hopefully no exceptions. No exceptions on the first try. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, customer ID begins, so it's the same customer buying these two things, right? Okay, so customer ID, right, trim, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, right, pad. What happened to my stars? Huh, everything else worked perfectly. Right pad, left pad. What happened here actually? We'll need to read up on these functions. So hello. Aha. Well, what looks like here? Did we actually? We had a lot of padding, but left pad. But we only left 3 spaces for ourselves. And that's interesting. Hello works fine. Trim from a. Right. Trim. Well, we don't. Well, the thing is here. Okay, we don't know what's happening here, right? Why is this? This actually is not. Right pad looks okay. Looks correct, right? So the thing is, this show, right, does not showing correctly the actual, since we truncate. I think we might be using truncate false also, right? We might want to put that in. So, but it works, but we don't see the full results. So what about my stars? So maybe this padding idea didn't work. Maybe you can't put stars here. I thought I could. Maybe I can put something. Maybe length should be 15, right? Length 15. What will happen? So it works a little bit differently than you expected, right? Right. So here, hell left pad. So this means here, let's read about this left pad. So, with pad to the length of, so, if strong is longer, if the string itself is longer, right? So then, return value is shortened to the length character. So let's make this mention, so about left pad. So left pad, right, you have help, right? So this is left pad, right, similar, right? So that's the thing mentioned is here, right? So that's why you don't see this. Of course, if you need to pad everything, right? So here, let's see what happens here. If I'm padding left, let's do this, left 10, right? And then 15 right. So that might work. Let's take a look if that really works, right? And then we hopefully we'll start seeing stars, right? Pad 15 stars, 15 cars total, right? So let's see. So this is, I don't know when you want to use this, but if you want to, right, it's possible. Do something like this, right? So hello, and we are padding all kinds of stuff. All right. So same thing here, right? Okay. Let's run it one more time. And while it's running. And looks like here, do we have stars? Yes, we have stars. And this was not in the book. This is something I made up on a star. If you need stars, so what you're saying here in this particular, so you're saying, okay, I want my string to have 10 characters maximum, right? Cut off, if you have a really strong name, it will cut off things, right? But if you have extra space, add right side, add stars, right? Then if you have space, you can add, I don't know, add maybe smileys. Let's do some smileys. I don't know. Let's try. Okay, thing is about smileys. Let's try it. I don't know if it's gonna work. Actually, I've seen some problems with smileys, but let's try it. Since I like smiley Unicode, right? Let's try it. This might not be. See how well support for smileys. Okay, I'll do something with something like this, right? Let's take a look if this actually supported in a box. I've had problems in IntelliJ, Spark. Sometimes there's some issues. So let's see if left side we have room for some smileys, right? Let's do that. Right? It's okay. Yeah, it's giving you these two Unicode symbols, so that's actually not good. Can we pad somehow else? I guess we can't. Let's take a look what happens here. I don't think it will work. But let's try it, right? Let's try it since we have some time. Yeah, we don't have much time, but yeah, you can. So it's two Unicode symbols. So I think it will pad with these two symbols. Will be some, so not very good support for these higher Unicode. Latvian symbols will be supported, or Lithuanian, right? Or Ukrainian, or some other ones, but not the. Oh no, it worked. Okay, it actually worked. It did work, right? It does actually work, right? So it does work with the smileys, right? I've had some bad experiences with these extra. The issue is, so it even works. It even works with smileys, right? So bad even works with high count, high value Unicode. You know, after 128,000, right? Which is smileys, right? So you just copy, right? So that is padding. So that's padding. So that is right. This is Unicode smiley, right? This is because you so yeah. You see, right? I can't copy, right? Because in comments it says in padding. I think it's because of raw string, right? Protection, right? Is represented by 2 bytes, right? No, 4 bytes. By 4 bytes. That's why you have this, you know, etc. twice, right? twice, right? There's other ways of writing, but yeah, so, right, so that's a smiley. Okay, all right, so it even works, but I had some issues not working. Okay, we have time, let's see, and let's take a look at the main thing, right? I want, of course, to get back to our friend, regular expressions, of course, right? So I want to see some regular expressions, so most frequently, probably, right? So existence or replacing, right? So it's using regular Java syntax, so if you can use our friend regex 101 or some other tool if you want to use. So there are two ways, regular extract and replace, right? So we'll do replacement for colors. So this is really important stuff, and let's take a look, right? So these are just getting warmed up, right? So not like that. We want to have some comments about this, right? Regular expressions. Okay. So we're gonna replace. So we have some simple colors, right? And we are going to do this. Let's take a look at this. So these are the simple colors: black, white, red, green, blue. Okay. We are going to have a regular regex string, simple colors. We are mapping to uppercase, and then we are combining together. So these are just preparations, right? These are just preparations. Remember, in our regex 101 or any other place you want to look, right? Regex 101, right? Which I like to use. But remember, this is the same thing. It's see or, right? It's an or, alternate. So we are basically going to say this. This alternate. We're going to replace these. We're going to look for these replace match with color, I think. Let's take a look, right? So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to have a color replacing color, basically, right? Regex express. So this, right? In this case, you notice how in Python they just do it immediately here. I mean, we could have done it here as well, right? We could have done this. This is just extra code, right? You could just do it black. You could write this as well. There's no need to do this. And same thing here. So let's take a result of what happens here actually, right? So this will be probably our simplest start, right? So regex express, and then we'll do extraction. So, right, so this part here, okay, what's happening here? Control V, right? Sequence, right? So this is of course print line. So you can, I'm sure, see regex string, right? You can print it out, right? It's just a string. So this will be basically this, right? It should be this, right? Right, again, it's just preparations, you know, prepping regex, you know, could do it by hand, of course, right? But of course, map to uppercase, make string, it's kind of nice, you know, Scala syntax, right? If you do something, you have these maybe values, you want to have them uppercase. This is just regular Scala code, just regular regex is in Scala, right? Of course, by writing up full regex. You know, like this, right? This would be the regex. Okay, which is a string. So we are going to select description. We're going to change some places, right, where color is actually. So regex express, I need to import the functions, right? Okay, so we'll replace it, and I will also select the column. There is column. Yeah, here's the original columns here. Okay, so original column is here. And I'm going to show maybe, let's do 5, right? And we'll do truncate false, right? Let's do truncate false, right? Again, false. So let's take a look at this. See what happened. So all of these occurrences will be replacement with color. So whenever you see red, you say color, 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 right? And you will see, well, color, hopefully. Okay, so you have white hanging heart color, that's the original, and this is actually what we did. So we replaced all occurrences of these exact matches, right? So all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, either of those we replace with just say white, right? Okay, so that's basically the just a simple example of doing some replacement. Of course, you can do a single, right? You say black, replace to white, and so on, red or to green. You can do replacements for these columns. So let's do also, of course, there's an example in just regular SQL. Again, a regular expression, right? And we are gonna create this SQL. Now, of course, Spark SQL. Again, I'm gonna do triple quotes. It's easier for me, and so because all this stuff, and I will move this. I will move this up. Right, select regular expression. I wonder if this will work. Right, strip margin. Will this work? Let's try it. Again, we do it directly. Right, color. So replacement. I'll do color. Right, colore. Right, to show krasa or you know, colorful, right, or something like that, right? I'm sure you see that it will be replacement, right? So let's take a look. There might be a syntax error here. Let's take a look if this is, if we can do it like this, it'd be great. Let's take a look. Is there any red? No, there's no red. Okay, great. Where's my colorful? Let's see. I didn't show anything. Well, okay. So show 5 false, right? False, right? Okay, let's do it. Let's show it. Again, if you do this, will be interesting to see how long it takes on a, say, 100,000 rows, right? So colorful, you see, color clean, colorful, and so on, colorful, right? Same as we did color, right? You can see here white, red, doesn't matter, right? No, I guess it's time to do some exercise, right? We will look at in a class, we'll look at regular extraction. That will be next. So for now, it will be replacement. So what's your task? Of course, let's see, time. Yeah, time is 40. Yeah, okay. So task. To that task. Again, open up March 1st of 2011, right? March, not March. March, right? CSV. Okay, what do we do? We want, let's look what kind of columns we have which are interesting. We have invoice description, nothing interesting. Country, okay, yes. So we want let's see, we want so select capitalized description column and pad country column with, let's use on both sides, so with 30 characters allowed, 30 characters for country name, right, on both sides. Of course, the question is now, how do we do this if you have different padding, right? Well, yes and no, it will work. Right, it'll be interesting to see, right? So, you know, so on both sides, 3 characters for country name total, right, allowed. It'll be interesting to see. So there's no, ideally there would be even padding, both there would be even number of, right? So let's say Latvia, something like this. No, Latvia, something like that, right? I know, 30 total. I am not counting 30 total, right? Something like that. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know how well you'll do, right? It might need some. So United Kingdom and I don't know Finland. What else is there? I forget what countries were there. So it should be interesting to see, right? So select padded country column. Okay. So description column. We have capitalized description column. Let's see what else. Padded country column. And also, what else could we do? We don't have much else there. Stock code, invoice number, string. And let's do something else. and also in the two columns in the also select description column again, right? So with what can we change? What's interesting there? Do we do cream? We can do all the, there's some water things, right? Cream, water, maybe something else. So cream on liquid, cream is liquid, and water something, right? So water, I think something like that. Cream, cupid, that's probably color, right? Cream is also color, I believe, right? So what else could we add? What would be interesting replacement here? I'm thinking now. Would be hearts, holder, coat, cream or water, right? Yeah, I guess cream. We could do, what else could we instantly replace here? Cream, hanging, hanger, holder, light, heart, be metal, on wood, right? Material. Okay, yeah, we can do that. So yeah, let's do something simple, right? With all occurrences of metal or wood replaced with material, right? So something like this. So yeah, so this becomes white material lantern again, right? So something like this, right? So okay, so then show top 10 results, right? We'll see how it works, right? With truncate, so of these three columns, right? So capitalized description, padded country, and description column again. All right, so that I think is pretty easy to do, right? Maybe a little bit extra work here. Occurrences, right? Metal or wood replaced with material, with string, with material. So becomes, right, yeah, this string, this description. Okay, thank you, and I'll see you on Monday at 9 o'clock.